What's
Hello.
good?
Hey guys.
It's Chiraq and Deadmonton here. We got top 10 dark last photos of celebrities. Some intense shit.
Oh shit.
Yeah, some scary shit. Like the video real quick. Full screen it.
Let's play the video real
Sad.
quick.
It captures celebrities' final moments.
Whether it be Amelia Earhart packing up her bags for a journey which she would never return.
No.
Or from John Lennon photographed with the man who later murdered him.
That's the man,
We're
though.
covering it all in today's video, so let's
Man
just
said
get right
real
on
vibes
into
only.
it. Starting off the countdown, we have Paul Walker. On November
real
30th,
said that.
2013, Paul Walker attended a charity event for Reach Out
RP to the
Worldwide.
boy
He was
them.
last captured driving off in a red Porsche Carrera GT. Little did he know that later that day, the car would crash into a concrete lamppost
God damn.
and two trees before bursting into flames, killing Walker and the driver instantly. It's so sad looking at this photo. Like, Paul seemed happy. He got into the car not knowing his fate. In fact, what makes this scarier is that he might have still been alive had it not been for one text. He woke up that morning completely forgetting about the charity event that he had to go to. That was until someone texted him to remind him. Had he not gone to the event and just stayed home,
That's
things would have been
crazy.
different.
Coming in at number 9, we have Robin Williams, one of the greatest actors and comedic minds that has ever passed through Hollywood. There was movie after movie that this guy made that influenced people from my generation and so many generations after. And right before we get further into this point, guys, remember that you can like, comment, subscribe, and hit the little notification bell.
Yeah.
Really
Stick
like,
around
bro.
to the end of the
Really
list because
like,
we're going to be
bro.
answering
Really
some
like.
comments from
Yeah,
our
chill
previous
out.
video,
Good vibes
Top
only,
10
bro.
Disney Mysteries. I mean, we can go down
What?
the list. This guy was in Aladdin, Jumanji, Mrs. Doubtfire. All of those movies were certified bangers. And this was the last picture of him before he
Certified
passed.
bangers.
He looks so happy. He's chilling out with his monkey Crystal, and the two of them are just being the best of friends. But even having one of the coolest pets of all time
Bro,
wasn't
imagine having a
enough to
monkey
keep
pet.
him happy. Unfortunately, shortly
Yeah.
after this picture was taken, Robin Williams would visit the doctor and get a very sad diagnosis. It
I'd
would
rather
seem
have
that
like
he
a-
had Parkinson's. It was
I'd rather have
devastating
like a
news that
dog,
would lead
bro.
to him taking his own
Yeah,
life.
true.
I don't know, like a
Apparently,
monkey's
he was
like, I don't know.
misdiagnosed, and he actually had a specific
Nah,
type
bro,
of
I kinda
dementia,
want like
which
a-
leads to paranoia.
You know
In our 8th spot,
leopards?
we have Amelia Earhart.
That's
The
a
fate
fire.
of Amelia Earhart is
Bro,
still
we talking
unknown.
about-
Did she die in a
Leopard, bro,
plane
looks like a
crash?
big
Did
cat.
she get stranded
That's
on
a
a
bro.
deserted island? We honestly don't
Straight
know.
fire
In
for a cat.
1937,
Leopard.
Amelia set out with her navigator Fred Noonan to fly around the world. One of the last photos of Amelia was her packing her suitcase for travels, in which she would never return from. Much
Yeah,
like these
suitcase,
other
bro.
celebrities, she looked so happy, just excited to go on this adventure. But
Why
little
does
did she
everyone look
know
so
it
happy,
would
huh?
end
Yeah, for
in
real.
tragedy. Amelia and Fred were last heard from on July 2nd, 1937. The government
Need the
spent
plane.
15 years looking for them. In fact, searching for
damn.
Earhart was the largest and most expensive search in American history. Sadly, hardly anything came of this. They thought that maybe the plane crashed somewhere in the Pacific Ocean, but who really knows?
Coming in at number 7, we have
I think I
Gene
saw her
Wilder.
yesterday.
It's impressive
Is
how
that
Gene
right?
Wilder was able to be both hilarious and terrifying in many of his performances. Like throughout most of Charlie and the
Oh, that's the
Chocolate
man
Factory,
thing. Oh, Willy
he's
Wonka?
kind of scary. But then when you check out Blazing Saddles, he's one of the funniest dudes around. This was the last picture taken of him, or at least the last one that was shared to the public. He lived
he
well
die?
into his 80s, and in
Holy
this
shit.
picture you can
I don't
see
know.
him with
Oh,
his
I
daughter
didn't know this
walking
nigga
in
was-
Los Angeles.
How
It was in
old is he?
2013 when one of the most famous actors in the world would learn that he was battling Alzheimer's. This is obviously a very strenuous disease, and it can slowly wither a person away. It's a tough battle, and because of this, Gene wanted to stay out of the public eye. So after he was told by doctors that he was fighting Alzheimer's, he decided that he would stay out of the peering eye of fans and become a homebody. And I mean, it sounds like a solid move. You had an amazing career, so in your last few years it would be nice to
Just feel like a
relax. He
stranger.
passed away in 2016.
Coming in at number 6, we have Chris McCandless. Chris was a 24-year-old American adventurer. In
Speaking.
1992, Chris set out on
What's going
another
on, bro?
adventure, this time
that?
into the Alaskan wilderness. However, he never made it out alive. His death has been debated for years. Some say he died of starvation. Others believe that he died of poisoning
know.
after eating toxic berries. The
Oh,
last
yeah,
photo
I've
ever
seen
taken
this
of Chris
before.
was a
I've
picture
seen this
he took
before.
of himself smiling and waving to the camera, holding a note. The note is believed to have said, "I have had a happy life and thank the Lord. Goodbye and may God bless all."
I have to watch a
Later,
movie
he
for
was found
this.
dead
They
by
made a
group
movie
of
for this
hunters.
guy.
The hunters were looking for a shelter for the night when they came across the bus where Chris was staying in. But when they entered, they discovered Chris laying in his sleeping bag at the back of the bus. His manes were already decomposing. Now, the last thing Chris ever wrote read, "Day 107. beautiful blueberries. Then days 108 through 112 contained no words. They just had slashes.
Oh.
And on day 113, there was no entry at all. So maybe it was some toxic berry that killed him.
Yeah, I have to watch a movie for this guy for my
This photo is
class.
super eerie, especially because of the sign he was holding. It's like he knew he wasn't going to make it.
Coming in at number 5, we have Nikola Tesla, one of the
Maybe he
greatest
ate the
minds
berries
ever
and he,
graced
like-
the
Yeah,
earth.
that's what the
This
movie
dude was
said,
straight
that he
up
died to
one
the
of the
berries.
smartest people who has ever lived.
he ate the
If it
berries,
wasn't
he's
for
like,
this
"Oh,
guy, we
shit."
wouldn't have the radio, we wouldn't have access to electricity
I'm
the
not
way
sure.
that we do today. And even though he
I
has
don't know.
nothing to do with the company Tesla that makes electric cars,
so many
there would be a
conspiracies around
solid
this
chance
nigga,
that
bro.
those electric cars wouldn't be running right
This
now
guy?
if it wasn't for
Yeah.
the inventions
I haven't
that this
read it.
man made. This was the last
so
known
many,
picture
bro.
of the inventor. He looks like he was ill, but he was actually mostly thin because he had changed his diet to eating very light. He wouldn't eat meat and he mostly lived off bread, honey, and vegetable juices. Probably the saddest part about the end of Tesla's life is that he basically had no money, although he did find pleasure in pigeons. For some reason, the inventor had an obsession with pigeons. He would go to the park and feed them, and even said that they gave him some of the ideas for his inventions. That's the secret. We've got to start hanging out with more pigeons.
In our 4th spot, we have
There was like a,
James Dean. On September 30th, 1955,
fuck, what's his fucking
James
name,
Dean
bro?
died in a car accident at only 24 years old. It said that he was driving fast
Oh,
and
some
suddenly
actor,
had to
bro.
swerve out of the way to avoid
And
an
like he got
oncoming
really
car.
skinny for like a role.
Mm.
And like, but like he could think like fucking crazy. Like when
Really?
he got really skinny, he could think like even more. His brain was sharper and shit.
Really? That's how it works?
That's what he said. Yeah. He was like, I was on it. He was like, I was smart as hell. I got smarter or some shit like that.
It ended up hitting it almost
When you're,
head
like, when
on.
you're really
It said
skinny.
that Dean died instantly, but his passenger survived with injuries. That day, Dean was photographed posing with the very car he later died in. In fact, that car is said to be cursed. He only owned it for 9 days before his
Oh,
death.
bro, I think
Later
I
after
remember
he
this
died,
shit.
The car rolled off the back of a truck
Like,
and
people
crushed
buy
the
this car,
legs
they
of a
die or some
mechanic.
shit.
Then the car's parts were disassembled and installed into other cars around the world. All those car owners also got into deadly crashes. So
What?
Dean's last picture was literally with a cursed car that killed him.
Coming in at number 3, we have Aaliyah. Aaliyah was a rising star in the R&B community, and it seemed
Oh,
that she
yeah,
was
I
going to
heard
be the
about this.
next star in the music industry. Literally everyone who was into music was talking about her. Before she was 22 years old, she had already won 14 awards and been nominated for 73
damn.
awards
She's
through
fine,
different
bro. She's
music
fine.
organizations. There's a good portion of us who don't even have our driver's license at 22, but her death would shock the world. Either one of
What
those
happened?
two pictures is thought to be the last of Aaliyah. They didn't have timestamps on every last picture back then, so we don't know exactly which one it is. But Aaliyah would board a plane that was headed to the Bahamas. It should have been a nice short trip, but the plane crashed. Out of nowhere, the next big thing in music was gone.
In our 2nd spot, we have John Lennon. On December 8th, 1980, John
Ah,
Lennon was
Lennon.
assassinated outside of his Manhattan apartment. Earlier that day, Lennon was photographed signing autographs for fans. The last photo of him was him signing an autograph for the man who would later murder him. It's so
Wait, that's
eerie.
crazy.
The photo literally foreshadows his fate. He was literally pictured with his killer. Later that night, the man in the photo, David Chapman, returned to Lennon's apartment and waited outside for him. When he came down, Chapman shot him 4 times in the back. That's
Like,
just
why did he
way
kill
too
him, though?
freaky for
Yeah.
me.
And coming in at the number 1 spot, we have Marilyn Monroe. I mean, what didn't Marilyn Monroe do? It's thought that she changed how women could
God
represent themselves
damn.
in the public eye. She was one of the biggest beauty icons of all time. It's thought that she had an affair with the President of the United States. She was a bona fide legend, and she may never be forgotten. This was the last known picture taken of the superstar. She was hanging out with one of her buddies, Buddy Greco, who was a famous jazz musician of the time. Man, jazz has changed a lot. It used to be the coolest thing in town. There's no way you could be playing jazz now and it would get you into the arms of Scarlett Johansson.
Oh.
On the record, her death was deemed a
Yeah, bro.
suicide, but off the record, it seemed that the CIA might have taken her out. She knew too many secrets from being close to the president. They couldn't let those secrets leak out.
All right, and that's all for today's video. Let's move on to our comment show.
So you
That's all
tell
for
me
today.
Marilyn Monroe, straight up, they killed her because she knew too much.
I don't know, bro. That's what that guy said.
That's some crazy shit, though, if you think about it.
Yeah, for real.